So today is Monday, July 2nd, and I have not vlogged in a week. Whoops. I thought about it a lot during the week. You know, there were moments like, oh, I should vlog something today, but then I never did. So I don't know why that happened. I guess I just never felt like it. Not a lot happened over the last week. I edited my final Artist Alley video. I got my store envy up. We did laundry, chores around the house. I made dinner for a couple of nights, stuff like that. Yeah, not a whole lot. I did get some art supplies when I came back on Monday. I bought some Chinese ink, which I played with, and turns out it was not the kind of ink that I was looking for, because it's not water resistant. So I did have fun playing with it though. Like, that is really like dark. I love it so much, but like this is after like 3 days and it's still reactivated with water. So then I bought some semi ink instead. Or more like, my brother bought it off of Amazon with his Prime free 2-day shipping, and I gave him the cash for it. And I'm playing with that, and I'm thinking next week's video is going to be something involving the ink. I just haven't decided if it's going to be ink wash or if I'm just going to do line art. But I am having fun playing with it. I bought some brushes, and I'm doing inking with brushes, because when I get to work on my comic, I'm thinking I'm going to ink it on paper with a brush. It's more economic than using the Pentel Pocket Brush pen the whole time. I don't know if I'm going to do ink wash. It depends on how well it activates to ink wash. Sumi ink is a little water resistant, but I still had a little bit of bleeding, so it might just get toned digitally. I'm not really sure yet. So I played with that a little bit. Watched a lot of Netflix and YouTube, and that's kind of how the last week went. So I think that's why I'm not vlogging. So yeah, this week on Wednesday, the 4th of July, we're going to go visit my older brother Dwayne and take him out to ice cream. And that's the only big plan we really got this week. I have to edit my art video. I did colored pencil bird drawing a few weeks ago before I left for vacation. I already have the footage, so I just got to edit it. Feeding Diamond this week. I would run out and buy his rats and do things today, but it's the hottest day of the year so far, I think, in our area. I mean, we have like warnings and stuff about the heat index. It's high 90s. It's about 97, I think. Or that's what the high is going to be. And then the heat index is going to make it feel like the low 100s. So I don't want to go outside. Last night, Patrick and I didn't feel like cooking. And we would have had to buy an ingredient to cook anyway. So we went out and got takeout from a pizza place. And just leaving at 7:30 at night when the sun was already starting to go down and the temperature had gotten cooler was unpleasant. Like, the humidity hit you like a punch in the face. It was gross. So anything that requires me to like leave the house, I'm avoiding for now. Patrick has work tomorrow, so I have to leave the house anyway to take him to work. So I'll run my errands then, but I'm not going anywhere today. No ma'am, I'm good, thank you. Yeah. And this is why I'm not a huge fan of summer in general. I don't do well in the heat. So, I mean, it's nice that, you know, we don't get snow and it doesn't rain that often, but it's just too damn hot. I just want it to be September. That's like September and October are like my favorite months of the year. The weather is like ideal for me. It never lasts though. But yeah, so I think I'm going to edit and maybe try to figure out a sketch for me to ink for my video for next week. Oh, I went on the treadmill today for 20 minutes. I'm going to try to get back in the habit of doing that daily again. So hopefully I can keep up with that this time, because I have a bad habit. I'll do it for like a week, maybe 2, and then I'll stop. I'm going to try not to do that this time, so we'll see how that happens, or how that works. Okay, so I don't know how long my battery's going to go, because I literally just am using my camera after recording for an art video, but I got a vlog about this. I wasn't originally going to. Let me just move this down a little bit. I'm using my tripod, because probably going to be talking for a while, so I didn't want my arms to hurt from holding the phone up, so I'm using my art video tripod. But yeah, last weekend, I can't remember what day it was. It might have been Sunday or Saturday. And I didn't talk about it in the vlog because I had already sort of talked it out online with Alicia, so I was feeling better about it. But I probably, it kind of got brought up again today, so I probably should talk about it. I was talking to my mom. Actually, let me go into my Facebook chat with Alicia so I can sort of refresh my memory of how it all happened. But I was talking to my mom, and my mom's fine. You know, I've mentioned in the past that she has mental health issues, and she's getting help, and she's living independently, and she's doing a lot better than she was in the past. So that's not the problem. But we were talking. She does a thing where... Okay, there's the conversation. That was Saturday. It was Saturday night. Okay, yeah. Mom does a thing where she calls me every day just to check in, tell me how she's doing, see how we're doing. And, you know, sometimes the conversations are longer, sometimes they're shorter, and sometimes they get a little tedious having that phone call every single day. But I have noticed an improvement in her overall mental well-being just talking to someone every day. So I do it anyway, even though sometimes she's like, so what are you up to? And I'm like, nothing. And she's like, oh, okay, me neither. Talk to you tomorrow. And it's over. So, well, I was talking to her. She also talks to her family in Oklahoma every day, specifically my Aunt Stacy. My Aunt Stacy is my mom's older sister. She was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in the early 2000s. I want to say it was 2002. And at the time of the diagnosis, she was only given 3 years to live. And that was like 16 years ago. So that's awesome. But it has left her severely disabled. So Aunt Stacy really can't walk or be independent. My Uncle Tony takes care of her. She doesn't have very good vision anymore. In the early 2000s, she joined Facebook, like right around the time it was new, and we talked on, and I think we might have talked on Facebook. I can't remember that well. But she can't even really use a computer anymore. So she only really gets to talk to people on the phone. So Mom calls her. I have not talked to my Aunt Stacy or any of my family in Oklahoma in about 10 years. For a variety of reasons. A large part of it is when we were kids, we were very close. Like, I was very close with that side of the family because they lived in the same state. I grew up in central Oklahoma. I grew up in Moore, and all of that family lives in Ardmore and Ringland, Oklahoma, which is down near the Texas border. So it was like an hour and a half drive to get to them, maybe 2 hours. Oklahoma's a big state, but they were pretty local. And then we moved to Germany in '98, and we never moved back to the Oklahoma area. We were in Germany, we were in North Carolina, then we came to Massachusetts. And they're not very well off financially. Like, they get by, but they certainly couldn't afford to come visit us, and we couldn't afford to go down to Oklahoma all the time. Like, no one in my family's ever been like rolling in money, you know. It's hard to travel sometimes. So we talk by phone, and you know, we did that for a while, like through high school, you know, like we'd call and stuff and check in with family. And we went to Oklahoma once in high school, like early high school. We went to go visit. And then the last time I spoke with them was in early 2009. My grandfather, my Pepa, died. He's my mom's stepdad. And we called him Pepa, and he passed away. So we drove down there, me, Mom, and my older brother Dwayne, to go see family, and we missed the funeral because it took us 3 days to drive out there, and they buried him pretty quickly. But it was an opportunity for us to catch up, you know, and to check in with everybody. So we were there, and that's the last time I spoke to them. A large part of it, I think, has to do with, you know, didn't have phone numbers, or, you know, that might have been a large part of it, or maybe they just didn't think to call or something. I don't know. It's been very awkward the past 10 years. Largely in part, I think, because of the gay thing. My mom's side of the family, you know, they're southern Oklahoma Christians, and it's the Bible Belt there, and they were not thrilled when I came out, which is another story in and of itself. I did not come out to my family. My mom outed me, is what happened. I came out to my immediate family, you know, like my parents and my brothers and stuff, and they weren't surprised, but they were very good with it, and they're still great with it, and, you know, it's never really been an issue. But Mom took it upon herself to tell her side of the family, my aunts and my uncles and my cousins, that I was gay. I didn't tell them, they told them. So that always is something that kind of bugged me. It's like, you know, like I wanted to choose when I did that, but she did it for me. The one thing that I'm relieved about is my great-grandmother, my Mima, had already passed away by that point. So she never knew. I didn't want her to know. So, hang on, phone's ringing. I'm going to have to check that. Okay, so there was confusion at Patrick's work. He wasn't sure if he had to cover a meeting or tonight. Tomorrow's 4th of July, so meeting got canceled, but he wasn't sure, so he had to call me about that. But anyway, I was mentioning my Mima. Mima was not the nicest person. She didn't approve of a lot of things about my family. Specifically, she was not really approving of my older brother Dwayne and his autism and how my parents chose to deal with that. She thought he just should be left in a home, basically. She wasn't too thrilled about the snake either, you know. So I'm just kind of glad that we never had to have that awkward conversation about the gay thing, because I imagine out of everybody in that side of the family, she would have been the most vocal in her disapproval, I think. So she passed away before that conversation happened. But, you know, the rest of that side of the family was never great about it. Most of them just don't talk about it. Aunt Stacy sent me a message around the time on AOL. I was using AOL Instant Messenger. That just kind of tells you just how long ago that was. About, you know, how she still loved me, but it was Adam and Eve, not Eve and Eve. Okay. It was very much the whole mentality of, like, love the sinner, hate the sin kind of ideas, which I've always hated. Like, yeah, okay, we're family and you still love me, but you're still implying that there's something wrong with me, and that's not okay. So, you know, it just never got brought up. It never really talked about. And another big part of that side of the family is, I've noticed, and it's something I've noticed with a lot of other people in that area, is if something makes you uncomfortable, you just don't talk about it. Because not acknowledging it is the same thing as it not existing, apparently. Which has been a problem with that side of the family for forever. Without going into details, a large reason why my mom has so many mental issues is because she was abused as a kid. And my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, who I never met, she died before I was born, knew it was going on but didn't want to talk about it, so she never brought it up. So Mom didn't get help for it until she was well into adulthood, you know, and by that point the damage had been done, basically. So it's kind of the same deal where, you know, the gay thing makes them uncomfortable, so they just don't bring it up. Like, it'll go away if they don't talk about it, kind of thing, is what I think it is. I don't know. The last time it was really brought up was when I visited back in 2009 after Peppa died. I was dating my ex at the time, and my ex is trans, by the way, too. My ex is trans. They're genderqueer, or they're not gender conforming. I'm not really sure what label they're using now, because we don't really talk all that much. Not like because there's bad blood or nothing. It's just, you know, it's been like 10 years since, you know, we broke up in 2009, later that year. So, you know, we just don't really talk all that much. But, you know, and they were out or experimenting and figuring stuff out at that time. But when I was talking to my family down there, I didn't tell them that, because I figured the gay thing was going to be confusing enough. I really didn't need to bring gender identity into it, because that was just way too much to explain. It was like baby steps. Let's just do baby steps. So, but yeah, Aunt Stacy was not, like, thrilled about it, but she never really expresses herself, like, in a mean way. She's always like she's trying to be, like, caring or whatever, but what she says doesn't really fit the message, at least in my point of view. So, like, when I told her, you know, about this relationship that I was in, like, I was with my ex for 3 years. That's a pretty long time. And I was explaining, you know, about this person I was with and stuff like that, and my aunt was like, you know, she said something along the lines of, I'm, you know, glad that like it's good that you're that you're happy, but but she said I would be much happier if you were with a boy. So, which in my head was kind of ironic, because at the time my ex was identifying as male. They don't anymore, but you know, part of me wanted to bring that up and be like, well, technically, but that would have been way too much, I think, at the time, especially because conversation about trans people in the country was not really happening, not the way it is now. But I mean, there's still issues with it in the country, but we've made a lot of progress in 10 years, so, you know, that would not have been a good time to bring that up. But anyway, I'm digressing. But yeah, and then a few months later, my ex and I broke up, and at the time I was very upset. Turns out it was a good idea. We were growing apart anyway, and it wasn't working, and there was a reason it wasn't working, but we're good now. But yeah, so obviously I was upset shortly after the breakup, because, you know, 3 years is a long time, and I needed time to move on. And Mom had talked to them about the to my family about it, and apparently my Aunt Stacy said something along the lines of, I actually typed it in here. Yeah, that I was really, you know, upset over, you know, getting broken up with, and my Aunt Stacy said something to the effect of, that's just what happens when you date a woman, apparently. Like the fact that my relationship failed was something that just happens when you're gay. Like, you can't have a successful relationship, it's just always going to end in failure, was the implication that I got from that, which is obviously bullshit. But yeah, I haven't talked to anybody back down there since. I have a lot of them added on Facebook. A lot of them joined Facebook over the years, and I added them to Facebook. So I have my Aunt Stacy, but she's very disabled and can't really use her Facebook anymore. I have my mom's other sister, my Aunt Rhonda. I have my cousins, 3 of my cousins, Aaron, Joyce, Tony, Marie, Randy, that's Aunt Stacy's kids, and then my Uncle Tony's daughter Courtney is on there too, but she's not really active. I have 2 Uncle Tonys on that side of the family. One of them is married to Aunt Stacy, and he's, you know, my uncle through marriage, and then the other one is my mom's brother Tony, who died 2004, and Courtney is his daughter. A lot of the people on my mom's side of the family have a bad habit of dying young. Like, my grandmother died in her mid-40s, Uncle Tony died pretty young, Peppa was pretty young, Mima, my great aunt, my Aunt Sharon, you know, it's like none of them seem to live very long. It's just kind of what happens. There's a lot of drama in that side of the family, which I could probably make an entire video about if I really wanted to, but that's not the point. The point is, I have most of them on Facebook, and my Aunt Stacy's 3 kids, my cousins, Aaron, Joyce, Tony, Marie, and Randy, are very active on Facebook, especially lately because they all 3 have kids now. So I see a lot of kid footage, and they've had kids for a while. I mean, Aaron Joyce's kids are like 7 and 8 years old, so, you know, this isn't like a new thing. And she's very active in the community and stuff, and they're on there, but there's never really any sort of communication. I haven't gone out of my way to send them messages either, but I was the one who sent the friend request on Facebook. But, you know, I mostly just see what they're up to kind of thing. So, you know, part of it's probably on me, the fact that we haven't talked in 10 years, but I never really knew what to say, because it's like, what do I talk about? This sort of all came up when I was talking to my mom, because, you know, Mom was mentioning that she called Aunt Stacy, and Aunt Stacy said that she was, you know, happy, you know, that she was glad things were going well, but I didn't really see that on Facebook from any of my family. I got engaged, and I turned 30 within 24 hours. So, you know, the day after, on my birthday, obviously Facebook blew up with messages of people being like, happy birthday, and everything like that. And I even got messages and, you know, likes and other things from family, especially Aunt Rhonda. I got stuff like that. But, you know, 12 hours before that, I had gotten engaged. Alright, sorry about that. My battery died. Let me turn my AC down a little bit. My AC is at this stage where it just likes to scream when it's working really hard, which is unfortunate because it's very hot this week, so it's very loud in here. But yeah, I was mentioning that I got a lot of Facebook messages and things from family and friends about my birthday and even the engagement, but my family in Oklahoma, I didn't see a single notification, even a like or anything on the, relationship status update that I made on Facebook, like, within, like, 20 minutes, basically. So, to me, it comes off that they were just ignoring it. It's, again, that whole thing of, if something makes you uncomfortable, you don't acknowledge it thing. So, yeah. Which didn't surprise me at all, but it's like, I've been thinking about it a lot over the past week, like, just how little I know my family. My dad's side of the family, my grandparents, or grandma now, because grandma passed away a few years ago, but, them I was close to, was very close to, because even though we didn't live together, they called every holiday, every birthday. They went out of their way to visit us a couple times. We went to visit them. They lived closer at the time, and we were just in more contact. My Aunt Lisa, which is my dad's sister, she apparently had been fighting with my dad, or he and my dad, like, she and my dad had just not been talking about stuff for a while, so, even dad hadn't been in contact with her. But then around the time that, shortly before, grandma and grandpa moved up to Indiana, they got in contact again, and now they're great. And Aunt Lisa calls, and she messages on Facebook. She messaged me within, like almost immediately after the engagement, which makes me think that dad was on his tablet or his phone, or somebody was being like, hey, it happened or something. So I think she was ready for it, but she reached out to me, and so did grandma. So I'm getting closer with them. But my mom's side of the family, I feel like I don't really know them, and I feel like they don't really know me. They don't know us that well, except for what Mom probably tells them when she calls. And a lot of that has to do with distance. We live in Massachusetts, they're in southern Oklahoma, but, the internet is a thing, phones are a thing, so, contact could have been attempted at any time. It just never was by either of us. So, one of the things I was talking with my mom when she was like, well, you should call them. I was hesitant to do that because, I don't know, something about it feels like I shouldn't be the one that should make that first step kind of thing, especially after what happened last time. I mean, the rest of the visit was good. It was just that one conversation about, the gay thing that didn't go well, but everything else was fine. But, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. I was telling my mom it felt like if I reached out and tried to reform a relationship, it would almost feel like I was asking for forgiveness or trying to apologize for something when I haven't done anything wrong. So, I don't know. It's a very weird situation, because I do know that some people have had way more confrontational arguments about, being gay with their families, and it was more subtle with mine, but it's still there. Like, I still feel that sense of disapproval, in general. But the reason why I'm talking about this now is because Mom called me, like, literally, like, 5 minutes before I took Patrick to work. So I had to wrap that conversation up so we could get out the door, because he was going to be late. But I had told her, I was like, you know what, give Aunt Stacy my phone number and have her call me, and I'll just wait and see what happens. But I guess it turns out she can't make phone calls, she can only receive them. I don't know. Apparently, my Uncle Tony keeps my Aunt Stacy very isolated because of her disability, which seems a little extreme to me, but that's just kind of how it works, I guess. I don't know. So she doesn't call people, she just receives phone calls. But Aunt Stacy apparently wants to talk to me. So Mom gave me her number, and now I'm debating if I should even call. I mean, part of me wants to, because, like, sorry. We were really close when I was a kid. She was, very artistically minded and very creative. So when I was getting into drawing and stuff as a kid, she was, you know, one of those people who encouraged me a lot, and she was very crafty. I mean, I remember, when I was like 6 or 7, this was in the mid-90s, those doodle teddy bear things were like super popular. Those teddy bears, those washable ones that you could buy that came with their own marker, and you could draw on them, and then you put them in the washer, and the marker's gone, you can start all over. It was a big thing. Like, every kid had them my age at the time. We couldn't afford them because they were outside of our price range. So we went down there for Christmas one year, and Aunt Stacy made me one. She made me a bear and got a washable marker and made sure the fabric was washable, and she handmade me a doodle bear because I wanted one so bad. We couldn't afford one. So, you know, that's just kind of what she did. She made us, we had this beautiful pillow, a couple of pillows that she made for Mom. You know, she used to make all kinds of stuff. And in the end, she got MS, and her motor skills started to go, and her vision started to go, so she can't do stuff like that anymore. She hasn't been able to for a long time. But, you know, when I was a kid, you know, if I wanted to talk art supplies or drawings or something, when we were on vacation down there, I'd talk to her, you know, and she liked to, like, see what I was up to and stuff. So when I was growing up, she was my closest aunt, and I guess that's why everything else just bothered me so much, because now it's like I'm 30, and like, I don't remember her that well, and you know, she doesn't really know me, and I don't really know her anymore. I don't really know that side of the family. I haven't in a long time, but I'm also nervous about calling because I know the gay thing's going to come up. You know, I'm not going to shy away from it. I may not come right out of the gate with it, but I mean, see, that's the thing. It's like, you know, I don't want to avoid it at all. Like, I don't want to avoid that conversation because it's such a big part of who I am. I mean, I just got engaged. Like, that's a big deal, you know? And, like, you know, the gay thing's not going away. You know, I have, you know, Alicia and I are going to spend the rest of our lives together, so this is, you know, pretty permanent. And, like, you know, if anybody's going to get to know me, they have to, like, or accept parts of me. I want them to accept and get to know all of me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want such a big part of my life to be brushed aside. Like, I guess it was different when I was just casually dating somebody, and by the point that I was visiting and talking about my ex, I mean, my ex and I broke up within like 2 months of that visit. So, like, we were all basically done. I wasn't aware of it, but looking back, I was like, yeah, we were done, and I just wasn't willing to acknowledge it, so which is why they did that first. But, like, this thing with Alicia obviously isn't. You know, it's not gonna be, because we're gonna get married and stuff. So, you know, it's not something that I just want to pretend doesn't exist. But at the same time, like, I think part of the reason why we haven't talked so much is because I've been very resentful. And, I'm wondering if that's, you know, gonna bite me in the ass or something. I mean, I probably should call her sometime this week. You know, because I don't want to, like, avoid it and then find out I could have had a chance to talk to her. Because she's very chronically ill, so I imagine the MS is going to kill her at some point. Like, she's a couple years older than my mom, and my mom just turned 50 last year, so, you know, she's mid-50s, and she's probably not gonna make it, like, I don't see her living as old as, like, my grandmother. My grandmother's, like, in her early 70s. I don't see her lasting that long, you know? It's hard to say, because, again, I haven't talked to them, but if she's so badly disabled that she can't, like, even look at a computer screen anymore, you know, I don't really know how much longer she'll be around. So I should probably try to call and just try to do something, you know, while I can. And Mom says that when she talked to her that Aunt Stacy apparently sounded happy for me, but, you know, is it like really happy, or is it sort of like, I'm happy for you, but I wish that things were still different kind of thing, which is not better, you know. But yeah, so that's what's been going through my mind today. I gotta make sure that I message Alicia and give her a heads up that this footage is in the vlog, because when she watches my vlogs and I get teary-eyed in the vlog and she's not warned ahead of time, she gets very mad at me. So I should tell her ahead of time. We talked about this back in Saturday, but I haven't told her this update yet. But I wanted to get this out on the vlog first, because I did want to talk about it. So if I do call her, it'll be later in the week. Because I got a lot of stuff to do this week. I gotta feed Diamond. I have to clean his cage again. I cleaned his cage yesterday, and then within an hour after the cage was clean, he pooped again. Still mad at you about that, by the way. Brat. And I have to edit my art video for the weekend. So we're seeing Dwayne tomorrow for ice cream, so we're gonna be out all day. But I think I'll try to call her. I just haven't decided when I'm doing it. Yeah, if I do, and when I do, I'll update the vlog. But yeah, that's just kind of what's been going on in my head lately. Alright, so I'm vlogging this now while it's fresh in my head and before my battery dies. But I called Aunt Stacy, and it went really well. She sounds really good. Aunt Rhonda was there too. I talked to her briefly. And most of the conversation was her being like, oh my god, you're 30, when did the time pass, kind of stuff. And apparently she and Aunt Rhonda have been following my art online, and they know about the convention and stuff, and they were saying they were really proud of me. And I didn't bring up the engagement, she did, which was good. And she said she was happy for me, and said that, you know, it sounded like me and Alicia were doing it right. You know, I said we were together for 6 years before we got engaged, and that we want to have kids and stuff. And she says, you know, if you're happy, that's what you should do. And it sounded really good. So it's kind of making me wonder if some of the stuff that I was worried about was just all in my own head, or, you know, like I said, it's been 10 years. Maybe she's just grown and changed her mind about stuff. I don't know, but either way, it went very well, and I have her phone number now, and I'm gonna attempt, when I can remember, to call down there regularly and check in, let them know how stuff's going. So yeah, it was really good. It was a really good conversation. Because I'm just relieved. The biggest thing that's going through my head is just hearing her voice. She has a very distinct voice. You know, she lives in southern Oklahoma, so she's got, you know, the Okie accent, and just out of all of my family, Aunt Stacy's was the most distinct accent for me. Well, no, that's not true. My Uncle Tony, her husband, has a thicker accent. He's got that redneck Okie accent that's hard to understand what he's saying half the time. It kind of sounds like another language at times. His is really thick. But Aunt Stacy always had a particular accent that is just very distinct to me, and always has been growing up. So, and I guess I didn't realize how much I missed it. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm happy. This is just overwhelming. This was a good thing. And I'm definitely going to call her again and keep her caught up on stuff. So, I'm good. I'm just sad that I waited so long to do this. So it is Saturday afternoon. I haven't vlogged in a while, but the rest of the week has been mostly uneventful. So yeah, I'm trying to think what's happened since I vlogged last. Yeah, not a whole lot. Errands, mostly grocery shopping. We saw Dwayne, we had ice cream. Might have mentioned that because I honestly can't remember when I vlogged last. But yeah, I'm feeding Diamond today, so his cage is set up, rats defrosting. So yeah. My art video went up today. I'm going to make some social media posts. I'm going to try to be better about posting online about videos and stuff and posting my finished artwork, because I always forget to do that. Yeah. The rest of today I'm going to be finishing the art for next week's video, which I can show you because vlogs are behind. So this vlog is going to go up after this artwork. I'm inking this beast. This is a bearded vulture on a huge piece of Bristol. I don't know if I'm going to do grayscale or not. Depends on how well it holds up to bleeding, but probably not. I'm also just trying out this new ink. So I'm going to keep working on that today, and that's basically it. Things are a bit uneventful right now, but I'm gonna try to get more art done and get back into exercising and stuff. But yeah, it's been kind of a uneventful week, basically. I mean, obviously besides the phone call earlier this week, but for the rest of it, it's been kind of meh. So Diamond is fed, and he is looking for seconds. Sorry, conversation with Alicia on Facebook, so got distracted. But instead of actually working on art, I wound up cleaning up my social media pages. I have a bunch of old stuff on some websites I didn't want up there anymore. Mostly DeviantArt, because DeviantArt was just a hot mess of... I posted basically whatever I felt like there. I didn't really... I wasn't really consistent with what I posted. It wasn't all of my best stuff. Sometimes it was just random things, which is okay sometimes, but I decided I didn't want my DeviantArt to look like that. I want to try to use it again, but I'm mostly going to use DeviantArt as sort of like a curated page of only my best stuff. So I went through and got rid of a bunch of stuff. And then random doodles and things, I can use Tumblr and Instagram or Twitter for that. So I basically just went through and just cleaned up all my social media pages, and that's what I've been up to. And I'm probably going to make some posts to DeviantArt and other social media pages and kind of fix them up. But other than that, that's kind of it. Patrick made dinner. I'm going to eat and watch something and probably just work on finishing my video tomorrow, I guess. Alright, so it's the end of the day, so I'm going to end this vlog. It's now been 2 weeks worth of vlogging, although I didn't vlog all that often, but that's okay, it's a shorter video. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.